Okay, we're live on Facebook. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to hop on. I'm here with my really good friend, Annie Scott. We're in Los Cabos,
Hi.
Mexico, and I'm so excited to be doing my first live interview and the first of a series of interviews in February. So we're just going to be talking about a few things. But Annie has just an incredible story. She calls herself a professional pilgrim, which I love. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about her journeys. We're going to talk about more specifically and more in detail her practices of Qigong, which is a beautiful movement practice, and what she has recently been sharing on her amazing YouTube channel, which you have to check out and you have to subscribe to right away, in terms of her tarot therapies. So, Annie, let's start off by just why don't you give us a brief introduction about where you're from and what does professional pilgrim mean?
Well, I'm originally from South Africa, and was at one point I realized, okay, I'm a professional traveler because I was doing major traveling all over the world. And then at some point it came to me that it's not just traveling. The pilgrim came in because a pilgrim is someone who's on a journey, who's on a spiritual journey. Excuse me. And I realized that as the years went by, my journeys were all in search of teachings, spiritual teachings, visiting sacred sites, visiting places of power, meeting up with seers, magicians, lamas, shamans. So then one day I was doing Qigong in my mom's house, and it just came to me, professional pilgrim. So that's where that came from.
I love it. So how long have you been in Mexico?
Well, I came to Mexico in 96. We arrived in the south of Mexico. We'd been living in South America, traveled all the way up through South America, and arrived in Mexico.
And you've been in Baja pretty much the whole time, right?
We arrived in Baja actually in that same year or a year after having arrived.
Okay. So how long has Qigong been a part of your personal practice and your offerings?
Well, since 2000, so that's 20 years, when I met my principal spiritual teacher.
And can you give a brief overview of what Qigong is and how it can benefit those who may have never heard of it or practiced it before?
Well, Qigong or Qigong is the ancient Chinese practice of energy work. Qi being energy and Kung or Gong meaning practice. But implicit in that word Gong is the experience of devotion. So I take the time to devote myself to cleansing, purifying, cultivating, and developing my energy.
That is so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I talk a lot about embodying our experiences, so getting past the mind and bringing it down. And this is even in all my years of doing spiritual work, it's still a daily practice for me. So would you say it's still very much a daily practice for you as well after 20 years?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, life is Qigong. You know, we're moving energy all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. So with the practice of Qigong, we're coming more and more into our body, our physical body, when you're talking about embodiment. Mm-hmm. We come into the body, firstly, because in order to feel, we have to be in our body. So, and we want to feel how the energy is moving or how the energy is blocked, where we can open up energy channels. And why, when you said, what benefits, why does one practice Qigong? Because we're energetic systems, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic systems. So when we have blocks in our system, we're not going to be functioning at optimal level. And we're not going to be experiencing and enjoying life in plenitude. And all the joy, that is our birthright in this physical body, in this temple. So with the practice of Qigong, it's an ongoing practice because we're organic beings and nothing is set. So continual changes, and so continually renewing our energy, recycling our energy, moving in and out of balance and equilibrium, living in this modern world is quite something. So the practice of Qigong definitely ongoing, lifelong practice, and focusing also on longevity, well-being, inner Qigong through meditation, outer Qigong through physical movements and postures in the body.
Mm-hmm. And was this one of your first practices that you started?
I started practicing Qigong in Mexico, but before that I had done many other different practices. And there was something about Qigong that just really called me, the name or something. It's like, oh, I want to do that. But I'd done other meditations, I'd done yoga, I had been to different retreats and had different spiritual connections.
Yeah, I always find it just kind of fascinating and interesting why something resonates with someone in a certain way. For example, yoga instructors who dedicated their entire lives, there's something that resonates with them. I'm kind of a person that likes to dabble in everything. I'm a little bit ADD in that way, just a little bit of everything here and there. And Qigong is actually a pretty new practice to me, but it's been profound in the 2 or 3 times that I've practiced it. So I'm excited to explore it more with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear too about ontology.
Or ontogeny.
Ontogeny.
Ontogeny. Almost. Ontogeny is the realization of self. Now, this is a name that was coined by my principal teacher, Dr. Carlos de Leon, who, when you talk about, you like to connect with all different traditions and lineages, he offers this whole smorgasbord of different practices. He works with Tantra Hindu, he works with Dzogchen Buddhism, body mind therapy, shamanism, healing, and Kabbalah, to name a few, and of course the whole world of Qigong. So in the ontogeny, he offers all these different paths because exactly as you say, some people will be drawn to something and someone else will be drawn to a different thing. So it's all here. Find what you resonate with. All leading to realization of self. So when we talk about the realization of self, not my ego mind or my dual mind, but my true nature, which is far beyond this physical reality and this level of consciousness.
Yeah, and that's why when I was setting up this community, the word remember kept coming up, because the deeper I get into the layers of the ego, the deeper I get into my connection with having a mystical experience or just having so many synchronicities, being like, wow, there's really something else here. That to me is like remembering that my soul's speaking, because we can be, and some people call it consciousness is unconsciousness. There's so many words for it. But what would you have anything more to say when I say, what does it mean to surrender, to remember? So, and talking specifically, because I know there's a lot of people in my community who are a little bit newer to the spiritual path, but it's becoming such an interesting point with the state of the world, with all of the changes coming up. I mean, people may have had religious upbringings or know that religious is a way of spirituality, but there's so many more options out there. And so when we're talking about getting more connected with our soul's path or self-realization or consciousness, what would you say to someone who's brand new to this language in terms of where to start?
Well, it's quite simple. In the body. This being in the body is a profound spiritual experience. When we're in our body, when we embody, when we're feeling sensations, experiencing emotions, all senses open, we're in presence. And when you're in presence, that's when that feeling of expansion arises. And that's the connection with what you could call the divine grace, which is that simple well-being. So, beginning on the path, just coming into the present. Coming into the present, coming into the body. Yeah.
And so let's move on to this way of connecting to spirit, to source through tarot. Can you tell us a little bit, first, again, for the brand new people who may have never heard about tarot or who would think it's like woo-woo or witchy or something like that. Let's bring it into how we use it and how Anni uses it. So I'd love to hear your definition of tarot and how you use it for your personal self-development and also with clients.
Well, tarot. Tarot is a world of symbols. And beyond our conscious mind or beyond our conscious thoughts or the reality that we experience is the symbolic world. So we connect with that symbolic world or oniric world through dreams and through all different kinds of symbols. So the tarot cards are a whole family of different symbols. So when you work with the tarot, you're going beyond just this mind into the deeper levels of your being, deeper levels of the conscious, even though it might not be conscious, the consciousness. So with the tarot readings, is it chance that this card came up or that card came up? Well, it's up to you. Have a reading and then let me know.
Yes, no, and it's, I've been working with a version of the tarot, which is the oracle, which is not the traditional tarot at all, whereas you work with
I work with the Rider-Waite, yeah.
Well, maybe we can pull a couple of cards and give an example of what you mean by the symbology.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Now, this isn't my deck. I didn't bring my deck, but anyway, Hollis has. Oh, I tell you, I just opened it on. Okay. The High Priestess.
Okay, so what do we see in general with the High Priestess?
Well, have a look. Just look at the card and see what calls you. In any way. The colors, the energy, the feeling, the actual physical elements present. What do you see?
The first thing that catches my eye is the abundance behind her, the fruits and the plants and and it's also just so colorful. And then the moon, so I would say a mystical, some kind of a mystical experience, working in the dark. Crown, very royal, very powerful. The pillars, duality, black and white.
The card number 2, representing the duality.
Okay.
So the duality is in everything, the masculine and the feminine, the good, the bad, the right, the wrong. The 2 different pillars of her temple, it's the high priestess. The high priestess is the holder of the divine mysteries, which is really interesting. Her card came out now because we're talking about all these different dimensions. And she's holding the sacred book, the Torah, which is it's slightly covered because one really has to be open and ready to be able to connect with the what you could call the divine mysteries, your unconscious aspect, your intuition. The high priestess is all about the intuition. Going into just knowing beyond the thinking. And definitely, yes, the abundance is there that you see in the background. Now, if you look between the veil and the columns, what do you see?
Between the veil and the column.
There's the veil and the columns. I'm going to show everybody else as well. Water.
It is water. Okay, I was going to say sky, but okay.
Yeah, well, there's sky.
So emotions.
And then water.
So this is, to me, that speaks about getting into the body, and you actually said getting into the body and feeling your emotions, which to me, in my personal experience, that's why I disconnected from the body so much, is because emotions can be tricky, tricky in this world of life.
So what the high priestess is saying to you is that it's all about going into trusting yourself, opening yourself,
surrendering
to remember.
It's true.
Because it's all there, all the information tapping in. So if you receive the high priestess in a reading, there are definitely meanings related to the symbols. But now we move on to tarot therapy.
Yes.
Because when I'm doing the tarot therapies, I'm not directly focusing on, oh dear, sorry, we have to turn the phone off.
God's calling.
Let me put this on silent. That was a little detail.
I'm just going to check the comments.
Okay.
Hi, everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, I'll post a photo definitely of the card.
Oh, hi, Michelle. So, where were we? We're going into tarot therapy. I asked the people to look at the card and tell me what you see. And it's absolutely incredible because everybody sees something different. So that's the resonance with your unconscious mind and the symbols in the card. Someone will pick up the color or this or the emotional state or certain aspects, and somebody else will look at something else. So then we'll look at the card with the other cards in the context. And at the beginning of the therapy session, we work on a question. So it's not just as simple as, oh, okay, let me pull a card for you and see what, we can do that as well. But the tarot therapy is when, what actually is the question? So simply working on the question can bring you into a new clarity as to where you are and what is going on, even if the question is, okay, I'm completely confused, I don't even know. So then what is the question? How is the confusion serving?
Yeah, it's such a beautiful. I love that you have clients look and see what they can see. I've never actually done. We've done a small session, but now I'm going to hire you to come to you with questions, because that's such a new approach that I've ever heard of, and it's so beautiful because it really, when you think about 95% of our thoughts are actually subconscious, and only 5% of our thoughts are what we're aware of. It's so important if we're trying to, well, I call it self-development, but maybe you have a relationship that is just really difficult and you're struggling with. You need to get into that subconscious part of you to be able to tap into the solution. It may seem impossible on the outside, but 95% of you inside, somewhere in there is a solution and a way to get some reprieve and more peace and harmony, right? So, yeah, I just love that. It's a new way of looking at the tarot. I've never even really thought about what you just presented in terms of asking the client if they're.
Absolutely. Because then it's all about you. It's not that we're coming with a pre-set up structure.
Yeah. And I think it's nice to get those readings too. Sometimes just when we want some fun, like I do Oracle, not in this way at all, but just some fun, a fun way.
Yeah.
But this, this is all about, I'm all about self-responsibility. Like, I love offering solutions to people, but we all have to do our own work. And this is you're just so putting the person on the spot to do their own work. And that's so much deeper than us just getting a reading and walking away and like, oh, that was kind of cool. No, you're putting, like, I just put my subconscious in the total deep place of what does that card mean for me, and especially in lieu of this conversation, which I'm bringing up this point for a reason, is because the subconscious mind is amazing to tap into, because we all obviously have the dualities going all the time, but which is, how are we going to bring that into oneness, and so that it serves us in our decision making and in our just ability to be in our bodies and be present in general.
So then with that tarot therapy, the essence of it is it's a journey. So it's a journey where the cards are mirroring your present reality. And it's a journey of transformation and spiritual growth and expansion.
And how long has the tarot been around?
Oh, well, from the ancient times, but then recently, the most recently, in Italy, they came around with the tarote, I think they called it, in the 1400s.
Okay.
And that was actually a game of divination that they would play in the courts. But the tarot carries very, very ancient old energies, Kabbalistic energies, ancient Egyptian, the symbolisms, and they're archetypes. The major arcanas are archetypes, and archetypes are really symbolic representations of our experiences.
Yeah, and just to give people like a context of what archetype means, again, for those of you who may be new to this, like, think of the maiden, mother, crone. Those are kind of archetypes, right? And so, yeah, these big transits in life, these big initiations, maybe. And yeah, it can just give you so much a reflection. I love the word mirroring too. Everything is really a mirror once we start on this path. We have it in ourselves, but the way to start to see what wants to come out and be healed or be looked at is mirroring relationships, experiences, the tarot, of course. Wow, such a beautiful conversation, Annie. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add in regards to how you work with people?
Well, I also work with the Sacred Circle Dance.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Gatherings.
So this is how Anni and I met, is through Sacred Circle Dance, and then we became friends. And she actually did my belly blessing when I was pregnant. So we have a very close connection in so many ways. I would love for you to tell us more about the circle dance and elaborate on that healing modality.
Well, the Sacred Circle Dance is a movement that started up, I think, in the 70s when a Belgian choreographer went to Eastern Europe to save the dances that were getting lost, the traditional dances. And he started choreographing his own dances and formed this movement where we would all dance in circle around a central altar.
And is this women, men, both?
No. He was actually a male.
Okay.
Bernard Wolfsien. And he founded this movement for peace. That if we can get together in the world in a circle and dance for the well-being and peace and joy. And it expanded out with different choreographers, dancers and non-dancers, because you don't have to have any practice. You don't have to have any previous experience. You don't need a partner. The dances are taught. They're modern choreographies. They're the traditional dances as well. And I go for the dances that are more meditative and focused inwards. All the dances, your feet on the earth, you're grounding, you're connecting, and some of them are gypsy dances and you're moving around, and they're fun dances, and there's lots of laughing and joy, and at the same time coming into those meditation and movement.
Yeah, I love meditation and movement. That's what it felt like to me.
So I work with that, and I offer retreats as well. When you say, what else do I do? What other modalities? With the Sacred Circle Dance, with the Qigong, with the meditation, really anything that opens up the door for our own personal growth and transformation. Soul medicine, I say.
Soul medicine.
Nourishing body, soul, and spirit.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So thank you so much for everyone who's jumped on. Hi, Nayeli. Hi again, Michelle. Some of you I can see, some of you I might be missing, but if you said hello, I can say hi. So I'm going to put Anni's YouTube channel in the comments. So please go subscribe to her channel. It's so beautiful. Why don't you tell people a little bit more about your YouTube channel?
Well, my YouTube channel is Anni Mandala. And I had the image of a mandala when I was snorkeling in Bali many years ago. As a mandala is a circular representation, symbolic representation of the universe, our individual universe and the greater universe. And I saw that all the modalities that I offer actually form a mandala. So they form the circle. So my channel is a spiritual journey of self-discovery through the study of tarot. With that, I put in pilgrimages. There's a pilgrimage of my journey, There's a video of my pilgrimage to Bhutan. And then I do readings, and I work with individual cards. And I've just posted a month ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago, the High Priestess. So that's why when I was open the pack, and there she was. It's okay. Well, here she is. All about intuition and growing and listening, and knowing and living within the duality and being present in the duality. What we were talking about earlier, I think about, the dark side and the light side, and this wanting to be so spiritual. And spirituality is all peace and love and joy. Spirituality is everything. Yes. it's everything. It's embracing the light. It's embracing the dark. It's just being present in whatever is manifesting.
Absolutely. It's all part of the oneness of who we are. Because as you can see, the light is just, or the dark is just as big as the light. And people local to Los Cabos, where can people find you and get a reading? Do you do readings?
I do online as well.
Okay, perfect.
So we can do it on Zoom and WhatsApp and even Facebook.
Okay.
Well, Facebook Messenger. And I do private readings at my home, or I go to people's homes. And then also I'm at the organic market on Saturday mornings, and I'm doing little shorter readings there. So you're welcome to come and find me there at the market.
Yes, that's the Saturday market in San Jose, the organic market. Please come visit us if you're in Los Cabos, whether you're visiting, because I know a lot of you visit here, or whether you're local. So I'm going to put all of Anni's contact information in the comments. So please get a hold of her if you're interested in doing a consult. And maybe the next live we'll do is maybe I'll hire Anni to do a live reading so that you can all witness what that looks like. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
And so I need to think about my questions.
Uh-huh.
So I'll bring some questions and we should just do a live reading. This is, I've been doing tarot and oracle and psychics and channeling and all the things for years, but I know that this is going to be, the conversations are getting started from, people that I never thought would be open to this. So it's just so exciting. I think it's a really potent time to start diving into these questions and these interests if it's up for you. So please come and join Anni's channel so you can follow her. And if this really perked an interest in you, if you have some questions that are on your mind and you'd like further insight, I would highly recommend doing tarot therapy because it is so insightful and it really helps you get a different perspective with a guide to go deeper than we normally do by ourselves. So Anni we just recorded a Qigong class, which is going to be available inside my paid membership portal. So it's only $33 a month to join. If you're on Surrender to Remember page, you're probably familiar with it, but check it out. We do astrology, we do channeling, we do a lot of movement. This month's topic is embodied joy, pleasure, freedom, and ecstasy. And the practice is very much geared at finding joy in movement. And it doesn't have to be, running 5 miles on the beach or whatever. It can be it's actually more enjoyable, I think, when we're slow and present in this practice of Qigong that Anni shares with us it's really peaceful. It's really peaceful. And we all need more peace and harmony in our whole beings right now. So thank you so much for everyone who's tuning in. I do apologize if I missed your comments. I've seen a couple of them come up and, oh, cool. Michelle shared Anni's website. So it's already up there, annimandala.com. And yeah, just be sure, as we're all, putzing around the internet, but be sure to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channels. It's really important to get more traction and help build a community. And that's what the Age of Aquarius is all about, is building community. So let's support each other in that way. Thank you all so much. Any last words, Anni?
Well, I just saw that Michelle asked if I'm still doing local Qigong sessions. Yeah. So I'm not doing regular classes as such, but I'm offering retreats. I've just come back from a silent retreat up in the Buddhist land. So, and then I have my dance retreat in March and another silent retreat. And I'm going to take people up to the Buddhist land for day trips where we'll do Qigong and meditation and presence practice. Mm-hmm. And then I will be doing sort of mini courses like they call master classes, or should we say madam classes. So I'll be doing some of those with Qigong, so I'll let the locals know.
Amazing. And I've been up to the place she speaks of, the Buddhist land. Here it's about an hour away.
Yeah.
And it is there are no words. There are no words. The energy there is really something special. If you need, especially if you feel like you're overworked, overstressed, overdoing, or if you just want to take your sense of peace and serenity to the next level, it's really just powerfully healing up there. So thank you so much, Anni.
Thank
it was so nice to have you
for
on
inviting
here.
me.
The first of many interviews together. Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful work you're doing,
Aw,
Holland.
thank you. Thank you. Let's hug for everyone. Share the love.
We'll see how the
Okay.
microphone's going to.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Be
We
well.
love you.